We're 15 seconds in today's broadcast. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me for a few minutes. I'd like to talk to you about something that's very, very serious. And I think as a nation, we have to pay attention to what's happening. We do not want to be accused of seeing what's happening but ignoring what's going on. Let me say that again, because I think that's abundantly important. We as a people, we as citizens of this beautiful nation that we call Zambia, we do not want to be accused of seeing what's going on but ignoring what's happening. You can say that either way. And before I continue with today's broadcast, for those of you, hello, Jacqueline. For those of you that have just joined us, I'm asking, I'd like to have you tell me in the comments below if you can hear me clearly, because there's been a few times where I went live and I thought that I was audible when in reality I was not audible. So I would like for you to please do me the honor of telling me in the comments below if you can hear me. Just say you're loud and clear, or you can hear me. That will suffice. 100% clear. Rajesh Patel. Thank you, Rajesh, for saying that. I appreciate that so much. I'm going to wait for a couple more of you to jump on, and then we can get this show on the road. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mumba. Loud and clear. Kabwe Bridget. Loud and clear. Timothy. Gilbert. All of you are saying loud and clear. CJ Joshua. Thank you so much. Bless you. Guys, I'd like to first of all ask you if you've ever heard of the Salem witch trials. This is back in the state of Massachusetts in America many years ago, back in 1692. The Salem witch trials were a series of hearings in court. People had been accused of being witches. Now you have to think back. This was back in the 1600s, okay? This was before any gadgets. This was before Facebook. This was before Instagram, before any type of teleprompter, before any type of labor-saving device that mankind could invent. This was 1692. And a group of young girls had started accusing people in a small colonial town over there in Massachusetts, started accusing people of being witches. This one's a witch. And the town literally went up in flames because of an accusation. By the time it was all said and done, when the dust settled and when the dew dried, by the end of 1693, more than 200 people had been accused of being witches, and more than 19 people were hung until they were dead. Why? All because of an accusation that so-and-so is a witch. And this is what I'd like to talk to you about today, because I think that if we ignore the power of accusation, if we sweep it under the rug, if we turn away from it and think that it's inconsequential, if we simply allow it to roll off of our backs, then we're doing this nation a disservice. Let me switch off my phone here because it's not going to stop ringing. And so many of you, including myself, and I said all of that to say this, many of you, including myself, have watched in horror, in absolute horror, a video that's circulating now on social media. It's trending everywhere. It shows, it depicts a group of young men adorned in regalia, in patriotic front regalia. And they've stormed an office accusing a civil servant of being a member of the opposition. And based upon the strength of a rumor, the strength of gossip, they storm an office, a government office nonetheless. And they confront this lady known as Madam Sherry, and they begin to taunt her. They begin to shout at her. They begin to met out threats against her, accusing her of being a member of an opposition party. Purely based on an accusation, they go into a rabid frenzy and they begin to threaten her, literally threaten her life. Folks, violence, in particular, political violence against women, should not be tolerated. It should be shunned. It should be condemned in the strongest possible terms. It should be dealt with and nipped in the bud before we lose the essence of who we are as Zambians. So what if you belong to a different political party? So what? Do you deserve to hang from a tree? Do you deserve to be burnt at the stake? Do you deserve to be taken to the gallows simply because you belong to a different political party? Oh, those are the questions we need to begin to ask ourselves as Zambians. What is this all about? If we look at this issue and we ignore it, folks, we are doing it. We're ignoring it at the detriment of who we are as a people. Nobody cares what party you belong to. When you stand under the Zambian flag, regardless of who you are, what tribe you're from, you first and foremost are Zambian. You are Zambian first before you belong to any political party. And how dare you, whomever you are, how dare you storm into an office and you threaten a woman and you sit her down in an office and you begin to say to her, we know that you are a sympathizer. How dare you? You don't work for HR. You're not from human resources. That is a government seal that you're breaking. When you storm into a government office and you threaten a government employee, a civil servant, that is a government seal that you are attempting to break. And oh, they should throw you under the bus. whomever you are, whichever political party you claim to be affiliated with, when you do nonsense like that, oh, they should throw you under the bus. They should throw every charge at you until your name is a forgotten rumor. No, sir. How dare you? As if that is not enough. As my mother used to say that. As if that's not enough. You go further and say, if you return to this office, you, the young men that are seen on the video, they go further by saying, by threatening Madam Cherie or Sherry. They threaten her by saying, if you come back to this office, we will burn you at the stake. How dare you? How dare you trample on this nation's flag by making such an irresponsible, foolish statement? Who are you to tell a woman who works in a government building that you will burn her at the stake? No, sir. Let me tell you, folks, and I want you to hear this, every well-meaning Zambian that names the name of God, every well-meaning Zambian that stands under the flag that we proudly sing about, you should voice your opinion on this issue. We are not going to let these young men get away with this. If we open the door of anarchy, because that's what this is vile, putrid anarchy. If we allow this to slide, and I'm speaking in particular, in particular to the party that's been depicted in this video. If you guys don't bring these boys to book, and I don't mean disciplinary action. Oh no, this has gone beyond disciplinary action. These young men should be arrested. It's there in plain black and white. We're not painting in broad strokes. It's there for the world to see. You've got a young man that's clearly visible, clearly recognizable. Lusaka is a very small town. Even I can just pick up my phone right now, make 1 or 2 phone calls. I will know instantly who that young man is. If indeed these young men are affiliated with you, have them arrested unceremoniously. Make an example out of them, because let me tell you, I warn you, if you allow this to slide, you're opening the doors to hell. Let me say that again. If you allow this to slide, you're opening the doors to Gehenna. You are making a clarion call for Armageddon. Make an example out of these young men. None of them have the right to storm a government building. None of them have the right to break a government seal and claim to work for Ichipani. No, sir. No, sir. This isn't Congo. This isn't Colombia. This isn't Mogadishu. This is Zambia. We have laws. And the man that you claim, you young men that are in the videotape, the man that you claim that you pay allegiance to, that man's allegiance is to this nation. And he will tell you that himself. When you talk about Eagle One's affiliation, Eagle One's allegiance is not to a party. It's to the entire nation of Zambia. It's to every single tribe in this country that lives, breathes, and operates within the circumference of Zambia. So don't tell me that Eagle One endorses that sort of nonsense. He doesn't. By virtue of being a president, he cannot, he will not, he would never tolerate that type of ridiculousness. You storming into a building, threatening a woman, sitting in a government building, and then you turn around and tell her that you will burn her at the stake if she tries to return to her office. Ichabod. Ichabod. That's what that is. And I will be shocked and surprised if you boys are not sent to prison because you've broken the law. What, you think the law doesn't apply to you? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? You think that you can wake up and wear a piece of regalia, and in your own deranged, demented mind, you think for a moment that just because you're wearing a certain color, that the law doesn't apply to you? You really think that? If you think that, you are the dumbest. That is the most ridiculous, asinine, idiotic, foolish thing I've ever heard in my whole life. You live and breathe under the same laws that govern the rest of us. The quicker you realize that, the better off you'll be. Yeah, you should say something. It's real. You should embrace that truth. I'm going to say it again because I think it's important. The quicker you realize, whomever you are, whatever color you adorn, whatever political party you come from, when you realize that every single solitary one of us, man, woman, boy, girl, as long as you are a Zambian, the same laws that govern you are the same laws that govern me. There is no green law. There is no red law. There is no purple law. There is no beige law. There's the law, period. The moment you embrace that truth, oh, you'll sleep better at night. I'm telling you. The moment you accept that authenticity, ooh, you'll do much better. You'll become a productive human being. But the moment you are deranged and you think that just because you wear a certain color, the law doesn't apply to you, you imbecile, you vagabond, you despot, you breaker of the law, you deviant. You have no place in our society. Let's just put it that way. You don't deserve to walk amongst us as Zambians. You don't. You are a lawbreaker. You are an anarchist. That's what you are. And you deserve to be thrown under the prison jail cell until your name is forgotten. That's where we are. And I encourage the police, Vakampyongo, get these guys. Get them. And my word to the Ministry of Home Affairs is do the right thing. Bring these boys to book. Throw them under the jail. Make an example out of them. This isn't Rwanda. No, sir. And if you think for one moment that what happened in Rwanda can't happen here, you better think again. It's things like this that spark chaos. Contain it. Control it. Take those boys, arrest them, try them, and send them to prison. because that's where they belong. I'm telling you. And my last word to the Secretariat, if indeed those boys belong to you, get rid of them. Do away with them immediately for the sake of the peace of our nation. Boom. Let me read some of your comments. Okay. Muhammad B says, I think he meant to say, even if you talk, cadres are above the law. It shouldn't be that way. Nobody's above the law. At least they shouldn't be. And if this is the case, and there's potentially it is, it needs to be dealt with. Okay. Victor says, if the PF won't change it, we shall change the team. This is not animal country, and it's not acceptable in this democratic country. It isn't. And don't lose sight of the fact that we're talking about the law. Nobody's above the law. How in the HE double hockey sticks does a young man walk into a government building and grab a government employee, a civil servant, and you begin to threaten a government employee? Do you know how crazy that is? That is a government seal that you're attempting to break. And you think that we're going to sit back, fold our arms, and watch you break and flout the law with impunity? No, sir. No, sir. This is a country of laws, not of men. Embrace that. Embrace that truth, and you'll sleep better at night. But in the next 48 hours, if those boys are not brought to book, trouble. It's not going to be pretty. The authorities need to swing into action, contain those boys, and get rid of them until their names are a rumor. All right. All right, let's read this one. Nawa says, imagine, he's also useless. Even the police who guards the premises where she is. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think you mean the security wing. I think my understanding is that a government building has security. You know, if you go to Bank of Zambia, there's a very detailed security wing that you have to go through before you get to who you want to talk to in Bank of Zambia. Nobody can walk into Bank of Zambia and start threatening a bank employee without the security wing swinging into action. So yes, I don't know what happened there. You know, the government building should have a security wing. And these vagabonds, these crooks, these despots should not have been allowed to do what they did. No, sir. Because here's the thing, guys. If they do it to her today, if they do what they did to Madam Sherry today and nothing happens, tomorrow it'll happen to you. We cannot accept that. We have to embrace the truth. And the truth is, we are a country of laws. There are laws in this country. Do you understand that? Is that resonating with you? Can you wrap your brain around that? That there are laws in this? You can't just arbitrarily wake up and burst into a government building and talk about whatever you want to talk about just because it offends you. No, sir. No. That's not going to fly. That's not going to work. That dog won't hunt. That pig won't squeal, and that dog will not bark. Embrace that. Embrace that. Solomon says the PS has a hand in this. Well spoken. Well, that's up to the authorities to determine that. George Chabs says, the reality is that if you have beef, he meant to say beef. You can't have a beef, you have beef. If you have beef with a civil servant, they will use the party to sort you out. It shouldn't be like that. That's wrong. It should not be that way. If indeed this is what's happening, it shouldn't be that way. This is wrong, unacceptable, and completely anathema to the way we do things in this nation. Okay, now I want this to sink in. Nandivik says, asking, now I want you to get the pathos of this, asking a politician to act on such mediocrity is more like asking a human being to fly. Politicians so desperate at the moment, they can't do anything. As a citizen, just protect yourself from these idiots. Now, I feel her, is it her or him? This viewer's anger. But the truth is, we can't all take the law into our own hands. We can't. I mean, imagine how chaotic that would be. I agree that during an election, a lot of crazy stuff happens, but this should never be tolerated. Where you take a woman who has the right of association. She has the right to affiliate with whomever she desires, whoever that is, whether that's green, blue, red, or pink, or black, or white. It's up to her. Here it is, you got a group of thugs who have taken it upon themselves to storm a government building and to confront a government employee about a political decision. It doesn't compute. It doesn't gel. It doesn't make sense. It is not cohesive. What, you're going to let these guys get away with it? Well, you're going to let them go scot-free? You're going to turn a blind eye and say, oh, well. You do that, and you're opening the doors to hell. Don't do that. Get rid of those boys today. All right. That's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening. God bless. Let me show you. See this? This is what we're trying to protect, this nation. Every political party, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter which political party you belong to, doesn't matter who you are and whose you are. This right here is the most important thing. There is nothing more important than this. Thanks, guys. Love you.